I've always dreamed of having a garden, but for 3 years I kept dancing around the idea by using temporary setups and convincing myself I'm just learning, instead of doing the work it takes to build a real raised bed. This year, I've decided I'm done using the excuse of being in the learning phase to settle for low results. 2026 is the year I'm fully committing to growing my own food. I chose to build a raised bed this year because of 3 reasons. 1, I can add high-quality soil and don't have to worry about digging or amending the existing soil as I would in an in-ground garden. 2, it is close to my front door, so it will be easier to tend to. 3, I enjoy designing and building things but don't do it enough, so this is a perfect opportunity to engage those interests. I looked at a few raised beds online for inspiration and started mapping out my own based on measurements of my area. I'm keeping the build really simple, using 4x4 wood posts for the corners and cedar fence planks for the sides. Since I'm working with a narrow rectangular space, I'm arranging 3 smaller rectangular beds in a U shape to allow for access from the middle. I chose to go with 3 small individual beds instead of one giant U-shaped bed, so that if I want to move the beds to a different location in the future, I can configure them into a different arrangement. Building a digital model before getting into the building was extremely helpful because it did allow me to work through some technicalities before getting started. I used this model to create a cut list, which is a list of all the sizes and quantities of wood I needed to buy from the hardware store and the dimensions to which I needed to cut them. Finally holding the materials to build this raised bed was so exciting. I had finally tackled the hardest part of any project, which is getting started. But as I was unloading the wood, I realized I had forgotten something important. The wooden raised beds would be sitting in moist soil and under the hot sun every day, which meant that over time it could make it crack, rot, and even fall apart. So before putting everything together, we needed to seal and protect the wood first. But I didn't want to use toxic chemicals and didn't have the time to buy an organic sealant online and wait for it to arrive. That's when I remembered an old Japanese method called shou sugi. It works by lightly burning the outside of the wood, creating a protective layer of carbon that helps protect it from rot, weather, and even fire. This was one of my favorite parts to watch, and it made the wood look even more beautiful. After sanding all the pieces, it was finally time to build the bed. We also added wire mesh to the bottom to help stop gophers and other animals from digging up into the garden from underneath. And just like that, the raised bed was done. The biggest part of the project is finally finished. Stay tuned for the next gardening updates where I'll show you the final result and everything I've grown so far. As always, thank you so much for watching and have a great day.